Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to that thing you like. Psyched to be with you. With me, your host, Christopher Leach, aka Chim195, episode 10. It's spooky season when you're listening slash watching slash consuming this in the bath and or shower for some reason. It's one of those days. It's summer at the moment, so I'm more hot than I would like to be as we're recording this. But that shall not deter us. Once again, I have brought to you the best, brightest, and most awesome of guests available to you for us to have a chat and to enjoy. So, less about me, more about them. Please, my special guest, if you could please introduce yourself, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hi, everybody. I'm Radderss. I'm a Twitch ambassador, Twitch streamer, creator. I dabble in a little bit of YouTube now, and the other creative things. And on the other side of that, I also work in like accessibility consultancy. Um, and yeah, I'm just a bit of everything. I like to entertain and I like to help people out.
I love the use of the word dabble. I feel like dabble is not used as much as it might be nowadays. It's such a good.
That's because I'm old.
I mean, preaching to the converted over here, you know. I know how that feels. Okay, so lot to chew into there. Can you break down for us what some of those titles mean, if for some reason one was not initiated with them? So what does
Okay.
being a Twitch ambassador entail?
Um, So to explain what a Twitch streamer is quickly, it's a person that creates live streamed content on Twitch, the platform. Um, and a Twitch ambassador is one of a quite small group of creators that Twitch kind of like handpicks as people that they feel represent the platform the best. And all of us have like different kinds of content, different life stories. We're from all corners of the world. And it's a very humbling thing to have been picked. So yeah.
And if you're wondering why I'm not one, there is your answer. There you go. What does dabbling in YouTube mean for you at the moment? Why did we go in that direction? What's going on there?
I used to do YouTube a long time ago before I got a bit sicker and wasn't able to edit anymore because it's just an incredibly exhausting process. I don't think until people actually edit, they understand how just mentally tiring it is to be just staring at the same screen for hours on end, you know. And at the moment for me, because it's been about 10 years since I used to make YouTube videos, I've forgotten basically everything. I don't know how to edit. Um, so I figured, why not record some of my streams, which I've been streaming for 8 years. I know how to stream. I feel like I put on good streams now. I just wanted to see if I could turn that into entertaining content for YouTube too.
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
I think I'm doing a good job of it, but it's only been a couple months. So
Yeah,
baby,
I
early
take
days.
I take the lazy person's approach to editing, and I essentially just export. I literally use the highlight tool in Twitch and just export Let's Plays by the hour, um, and just throw a marker down when I take a break because that's where we're at. Editing is a unique skill. I think it takes a lot to be really good at it. Gonna self plug. Check out the episode this season with Owen Trett, who's the video editor of Punkle, famous for Vampire Survivors. Very insightful
Ooh.
interview around how they make their trailers, including the use of some feet. Just a little tease there for that episode if you haven't listened to it already. But yeah, it's a very particular skill set that I think the kind of drop and drag and slice and splice kind of thing you can do on say like phones has maybe given people a really false impression of the level of technical skill required. So yeah, I very much resonate with that as a challenge. Um, so to build
It's
on
it's
that,
one that feels good to do.
yes, yeah, it's definitely rewarding when like you finish it, but it's tough. It's a chain when you're going through it.
Oh yeah.
To then move on to our next element, then you mentioned sort of accessibility, consultancy, that type of thing. What does that mean to you? How did you get there?
Oh gosh, I got there entirely by accident. Um,
That was so genuine. I was just like, whoops.
like it was never something that I set out to do. When I started streaming, it was more to have a community, have a space to kind of have fun and have an outlet. And really, I just kind of fell into it because the more games I played, the more I was like, wow, a lot of games are very inaccessible. And like because I have chronic pain and other motor skill issues as well as cognitive issues, I started finding that there were games that I had to stop playing and I couldn't use for content and I couldn't use to entertain because I couldn't physically play them anymore. Um, and so I just kind of started being more vocal about it. That's really all it was. It was just I started to be vocal online of like, hey, this isn't right. Um, it isn't right that the only time you have an easy mode is a mode that doesn't let you actually finish the game, or any other myriad of things. It's not right that you don't offer subtitles at all, etc., etc. Where are my map markers? And I just kind of fell into the space. People listened to me and I listened to them, and then we'd have conversations about it. And then I got invited to be an accessibility award judge for the Game Awards,
Oh, wow.
which just, I was like, I'm on that list? Me? But I take a lot of pride in it. And it's one of my favorite times of the year to sit down with a whole bunch of games that are proud of their accessibility achievements and get to like deep dive into them and see all of the really cool ways and really creative ways that developers try to make their games more accessible. And it's creative, but it's brilliant because you make games better for everyone
Mhm.
the more accessible you make them.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting because like and I've had this discussion with several people, both sort of within and without the accessibility space. And there are just so many simple things that are such easy wins that would make a game so much more accessible, right? I think my favorite go-to
Hmm.
rant is like even would say, and this we're gonna get right in with upsetting the internet. You take a Souls game, right? Like people say, well, it's for babies if you give them the easy mode, you know. And I'm like, okay, cool. Don't give me an easy mode, but give me the ability to say increase the parry window, right? I'm visually impaired, so like seeing the perfect timing of the exact frame that you need to block. I'm
Hmm.
terrible at. Genuinely suck. Bad. Wish I could get good. You know what I mean? But my eyes are broken. So like that would make the game accessible while still retaining its difficulty and without making me feel like, oh, okay, the game's not just letting me sneeze through it. And
Mm.
maybe that's not like, I mean, text size is like a really you can fix this with no problems, real quickly, thing. My other go-to, but that type of thing is getting people to think about the benefits of accessibility. I know there was a lot of shall we say, online ruckus around
Mm.
like sort of situational disability recently, around like
Yeah.
parents and gaming. That was like very hot button. Um, so like it's good that people are talking about it, even if not all the noise is good all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the difficulty is as well, especially with any video game, once a game is ready for a trailer, it's too late to start working on accessibility.
Mhm.
It is from every conversation I've ever had with a developer, because I also worked on, I was one of the first judges on the first ever accessibility game jam. So I got to see a bit more detail into how actually games come together from very, very, very early stages and concepts. And the earlier you try a concept for accessibility, the easier it will be to tweak it because it will be like a part of the framework of the game rather than you just trying to shove code on top of code and things break and there's a lot of friction there. Um, so the conversation around like Souls games gets really complicated because it's never been in their design ethos to make the games accessible. They want it to be a challenge, but unfortunately, a challenge and impossible are the same thing for different people.
Mhm.
And the more accessible your game is, it often ends up being a lot more enjoyable. I'm actually really excited about the fact that there is somebody that is making a Elden Ring quest log mod that will like keep information on the characters that you've met along the world, the quests that you need to do, like areas that you need to go to find things. And just like cognitively, that is so chef's kiss, because I my entire experience with Souls games is that I'm very fortunate that I can play them without any assistance, but I will never be able to complete a quest without help.
Mhm.
Their method of telling story is so piecemeal. It's so, oh, one conversation here that you'll never be able to repeat. One item description on a very obscure thing that you maybe pick up and don't want to use, so you never read about it. Um, it's just, it's not a very fluid way of telling stories, or even showing to your player base. Like, how do we do these things? What is the overarching story? What is the thing we are trying to tell you with our game? Most people don't get it.
Mhm.
And I see that as a failure in that sense.
Yeah, no, I'm inclined to agree. I think let's really upset the internet. We have on one end of the spectrum the Souls-like games where like the lore requires basically additional reading to be able to understand what the heck you're doing or knowing which pieces to look at in which order. And then right at the other end of the spectrum, let's go wild. Kingdom Hearts. Try understanding what is going on there. Um, I know several people who are ardent Kingdom Hearts fans who kind of look at me and just go, "Yeah, don't. This is a rabbit hole. This is the looking glass you cannot go back through if you try and get there." And I accepted that going in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's Kingdom Hearts is just a whole other level of, okay, yes, that's a thing. Okay. And that goes to, okay, sure. Why not? Hi, Daffy Duck. How you doing? So it's, yeah, I think, when you look at it, when you look at games like The Last of Us Part One, which was quite, especially when it came out, the accessibility conversation was still relatively newish online. Um, and they just kind of like blew everyone away with just how many people could play their game, because they gave so many options, because that's what they are. They're just options. You don't have to use them if you don't need them. But yeah, fantastic game. Fantastic studio, and it's been great to see so much of a greater focus on accessibility, and not just like your basic, like, okay, here's how we'll, you can always have subtitles, you can change the parry windows, or you can have invisible walls put up in the world to mean that you don't fall off. Like, you could have that across every game, but it's when studios get creative that I'm like, yes, this is
Mhm.
great. That's why I love Tango Gameworks. I loved Hi-Fi Rush. And I'm glad that they have work again.
Yeah, I
Good
read
on them.
recently they've been reacquired at the time of recording, so that's good.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's good. We
Yeah.
like to see that.
So
It's such an
I like to see
interesting
that creativity.
it's such an interesting paradigm because I think again like we're not just here to rag on games or just like I know we should uplift, we shouldn't rag as much, right? But I think one of the challenges for me is when like you know there's no way you can win online, right? Like even just games that have
Oh
like
no.
options, as you put it, like they'll turn them on and go, wow, this game's so easy, it's trash. And it's like, okay, but like you played with all the assistive options on that were not like necessary. My go-to example is Celeste has
Hmm.
wonderful accessibility options, but it very explicitly
Yeah.
says like, feel free to use these. We want you to enjoy the game, but know that the
Mhm.
challenge is intentional. It's part of it. Like, so know that
Yeah.
you are not going to get that part of the experience. I
Yeah.
don't think I have personally not seen anyone say Celeste is too easy. So
Oh no.
we'll see.
No.
But like it's that part of the conversation that I think is a little bit daft. A little bit daft. So
Yeah.
part of this show's kind of ethos is not just what we do, but why. And I
Hmm.
feel like you've touched on this a little bit already, but what drove you to want to be here? Obviously, you said you fell into accessibility, but like, what made you want to be a content creator? What made you do this? Be Radderss, be a legend, the legend of Radderss.
Um, well, I was born on January 1st. So apparently I was just always destined for greatness, I guess. My life was a celebration. No,
as it
I
should
I
be.
got disabled. The simple reason that I ended up becoming a creator is because I became so disabled that I couldn't get out of bed and couldn't do anything. I had to drop out of university, move back home, and just spend months and months in a dark room, um, not being able to move, barely being able to eat, and just having the worst time. I had the worst cabin fever, like because I just wanted to speak to people and have like a social connection again that I hadn't had for a long time at that point. And I got bored of like TV, I got bored of the same films, and then I just stumbled upon streaming and kind of became community members of other people's streams. Um, and one day when I'd had like a slight improvement in my health and I could sit up at my PC for like 2 hours at a time, I thought, oh, it'd be really fun if I could like do this myself,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to spend this little bit of time talking to people and having that social connection, and then I could just go back to bed. Um, and yeah, fast forward to now, I'm still a streamer. I've been a Twitch ambassador for 2 years now. Um, and it's been a very rocky uh kind of time. It's Streaming is difficult at the best of times, especially when it comes to like audience retention or growth or earning enough money or whatever. Um, and you're kind of always fighting against the algorithm a little bit, which is very difficult to do when you're a disabled person who has a very variable health condition. So I couldn't hold myself to long hours, multiple days a week. Um, there would be times where I'd maybe only do one stream or zero streams in a whole week because I had a flare up or had to go to like a hospital appointment. So the rest of that week I was too ill to stream, things like that. And as my health has very slowly improved to the point that I can kind of do what I do now, um, I still very much have not like cracked the code
Mm-hmm.
on how to really like grow, like to the point where you would be considered to be quite successful. Um, but everybody has their own definitions of success, really. So I guess I just try to see it as a success that I'm still here,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm still doing this, that I'm still enjoying it, that I don't see it as a chore or an obligation. Um, I see it as my way of being able to be myself and connect with the world as myself because I, I can't go outside very much still, especially not alone. So Twitch is my window to the world. Um, and I try to keep it clean.
Okay, no, that's fair, and I think it's also just for listeners' benefit. You said you've been sort of streaming for about 8 years, so that puts us like
Hmm.
what's that? What math? Like 2016 ish, roughly.
Hmm.
And just like Twitch was still quite young. I don't want to say infancy necessarily at that point, but it was
Hmm.
definitely like quite young then. So I think just to help your listeners kind of understand that you were doing this still at a really impactful point to
Hmm.
decide to get on this train and stay with it. And it's only gotten progressively more challenging, I think, just due
Yeah.
to. And listen, we I'm not going to ruin my own podcast about getting into the whole the everyone can kind of rhetoric. But to quote one of the world's greatest gymnasts, arguably the greatest gymnast of all time and current Olympic champion Simone Biles, not everyone needs a microphone and a platform. And we'll leave it at that. You know, there's some people that definitely should and should have their platform very much uppeted, for lack of a better terminology. I'm intelligent, I know words, and that is not always the case. But still, anyway, chatting mints. This is about you, not me, and my vapid opinions. Have you and this is it's kind of a famous joke that I vaguely flirt with all of my guests politely at one point during the episode. But have you thought about getting into podcasts, maybe like doing audiobooks? Because you have a really nice voice.
That's it's not the first time somebody said that to me. So I should probably take it seriously. Yeah, it's for me, that quote from Simone Biles, I very much oftentimes think like a lot of people who make podcasts these days, those thoughts should have remained inside thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those topics should have remained inside topics. And I think a lot of content these days is made to be specifically reactionary, because it doesn't matter to most people and most algorithms, especially advertising ones. It doesn't matter what you're saying. All that matters is the reaction you get from other people.
Mm-hmm.
So too many creators specifically create content that other people will hate and will love to hate. And anything that will get them more views, anything that will get them more comments, more engagement, because engagement is all that matters to them. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, that perspective on use of social media and social platforms is kind of destroying the world. Um, and tearing society apart because everybody's so divisive these days, because the only way you can reach out and be seen in a online social space is to say something controversial or say something that will rile people up, and everybody gets funneled into these like reactionary echo chambers because they all get kind of shoved into this algorithm where people that really like them or really hate them always see what they want,
Mm-hmm.
see what they say, but nobody gets the opportunity to have a empathetic take on life.
Yeah.
But I also don't feel I I don't feel like necessarily I'm the person that can bring that empathetic take. And my concern with maybe starting a podcast is, am I actually going to be doing anything good with my time? Am I going to be speaking about things that matter? Am I going to be doing anything or saying anything that is actually going to improve the space? Like, am I needed, or is it just the people that are already here that are saying the right things and doing the right things just aren't getting enough attention?
I'm aware
So
of
it's
the very insular nature of saying this on my own podcast, but I think if your intention is to deliver information, knowledge, or spotlighting for a deliberately positive outcome, like we've had mental health people on the show, or accessibility people, or Revia, Laura K. Dale, Molly Evans,
love them all.
who are designed to really perpetuate the good stuff that they're doing. I think if your intention is to put good out, that is worth doing if you have the outlet for it. But again, like to reiterate, like you have a really nice voice. I think people would listen for the pleasurable dialect, which is not something I think
Thank
I
you.
offer. I have a real face for radio, you know. But yeah, if not audiobooks, I'm a blind guy. I consume a lot of audiobooks. A lot of terrible readers of audiobooks.
Yeah, I got sent a link to a like an audiobook uh site that you can kind of audition for books and things on there. And I might give it a go. See what happens, right? Because my hope especially is that if I want to record audiobooks or something that doesn't require a camera, I if I'm having a day where I'm so tired and my hair is up and it's a mess and I'm just wearing my PJs and I'm wandering around like a little zombie, if my voice works, I can still work, you know?
Mhm.
So it's something to think about. Yeah. People, I've had many compliments on not necessarily my voice, but the things I say. Um, I've been on like various panels over the years. Um, and you all keep gassing me up. It's very nice.
Good, good. That's what we like. So let's then just to I suppose I always like to do a little bit of an origin story on this, but I feel like I was aware of your activity in the space through the internet, as it were, but we kind of properly interacted online through Impact with Many Cat Studios.
Mm.
Tell us about your involvement with that. What was that like? Why are you still in the Discord? Why are you still hanging out with us?
Yeah. So, impact was something that was not expected for me personally, because the way that impact works is it brings together people in the UK in the games industry, and I'm not in the UK. So
With that
when
accent?
right. So when they reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, we're working on Impact." And I was like, "That sounds really cool." And they said, "We'd love for you to help choose our cohort." I was like, "What? Sorry? Say that again?" And they're like, "Yeah, we've got all these amazing people that we'd love to like bring together and kind of maybe do this work or that work." I won't go into too much detail because some things happened and some things didn't. Um, but essentially they were just like, "We would really love your perspective." Um, and they basically told me that if I lived in the UK, I probably would have been asked to join, but so I'm not specifically like an impact member right now. I mostly am just like peripheral cohort, sort of like I'm there to cheer you all on and just bask in the glory of being right about picking you all. So
I was gonna say this. I realized after I'd said it. Oh, this is a feeder for you to now compliment my amazing application. Quiff's hair. Well,
oh, it's fantastic.
you're.
You were a very highly recommended
Oh,
person.
please. I'm good at chatting mints, both written and auditory. But
Same.
you're in
Half
you're
the
in
industry is just how can you compliment, can you make a person feel good about their work? You're in.
truly. You're in the secret part of the Discord though. We like it. You're one of us. We see you as part of the cohort. I speak for
Thank you.
literally the rest of the cohort. If they disagree, fight me. Um, so yeah, take that as it is. But yeah, that's how we kind of first interacted, and obviously, like again, sort of at a distance, because I kind of have this is again total tangent, but like to ensure that I am productive, I try to stay off Twitch, which is inverse to trying to be successful on Twitch, because like you have to like be in communities, right, and watch a lot of stuff. But like I am a hyper engaged chatter. If I'm in your stream, I'm a chat a lot
Mm-hmm.
because I want to just chat to you and the community and be involved. Because like I know
Yeah.
from being a streamer, it's nice when people are involved, but also I just like getting involved. I know I host a podcast. What a surprise to everyone involved. Um, but then I will be less good at doing other things that I'm supposed to be doing. So,
That makes
um,
sense.
but yeah, having seen a lot of the stuff that you've been up to and stuff like that, I kind of had you on the wish list, I guess, for a while. I'll be honest.
Uh,
So
I'm glad that COVID didn't keep me down long enough for you to finish the podcast.
I know, yeah, you post TwitchCon and things like that. We were like, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll pencil something in, and then you got the COVID.
I was fine after TwitchCon. I didn't catch anything because I masked the whole time. And then my husband went to work and caught COVID from his office.
So work is the problem. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, basically, the government should just give us all money and we don't work ever. And then nobody ever catches COVID and gives it to me.
And then we could almost swap like I don't know, like expertise or knowledge for goods and services, um, and like
That'd
that.
be kind of nice, a trade-based society.
Yeah, imagine. I mean,
But not financial trade.
no, no,
No, we don't need another Wall Street
no, nah, just
or many more walls, let's be honest.
more Market Street than Wall Street. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I want to see just market stalls with £1 fish and other wonderful
£1 fish.
things.
Just £1 fish. Boom. And we could be really, really daft and be like, we're not even talking about the monetary value of £1 fish, like £1 of fish is in its weight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
here we go. Boom.
Swings it around. This is a whole pound. You see this?
It's now a weapon. This is when did so we want Skyrim? Is that basically where we're at? We want something Skyrim.
I'm sure there's a mod where you can have just a fish as a weapon. Like, I'm sure it
If that's not
exists.
just part of the game, what are they doing? Sort out.
Right? Honestly, Bethesda going down the toilet, not giving me fish weapons. Who are you?
Gosh. Sorry, now just thinking about wielding a fish. It's quite a very intrusive, distracting thought. Anyway, so we talked about a lot like what you do in terms of your hustle, your bustle,
Mhm.
right? But let's go backstage now, behind the scenes of like Cribs Radderss. You got a really nice
Oh yeah.
ornamental things behind you and stuff. If you could maybe
Mm-hmm.
walk us through any important pieces you'd like, but especially I think I'm interested in it, really highlighting the capacity that you have outside of streaming and such. But what do you do when you're not working? How do you unwind after doing those type of things?
Um, it's so dependent on my health at the time. It's my whole life is ruled by my health and everything else, any accomplishments I want to have, any fun I want to have in my life, it all has to revolve around what can I physically handle or mentally handle. Some days my brain just turns to mush and the fog is up so high, it's denser than Silent Hill, up in
Nice.
there. So my winding down is pretty much not talking, trying not to think. I'll just lie on the sofa and zone out and just let the white noise take me. Just the in my brain. Um and just I have to not function for a little while after most streams. So that I can have the energy to like eat that evening or something ridiculous because chronic illness is not fun,
Mhm,
especially ones that impact like fatigue levels and stuff. It gets really exhausting just trying to manage life. But that ends up being why everything I do, it's always a if
mhm.
I'm well enough to do this. Like if I buy tickets for an event, it's like, are these tickets refundable? Because if not, we're making a big risk right now. Um, everything. The My whole life is health management more than anything else. So everything about the outside of work is just um, how do I feel?
Mhm,
I don't get to have the luxury of just doing anything I want when I want to, um, which is probably why I'm a tiny bit more reserved in the way that I communicate things to people, like when I'm actually trying to have a serious conversation. Because if I just let my brain run with things, I lose train of thought. I get like easily distracted. Like it's not a good time up in here,
mhm.
quite a lot of the time. Um, but yeah, I try to enjoy life.
Well, I
I
mean,
try.
well,
Like
talk about the
I've got
ultimate
I've
challenge.
got I've got the most like amazing cats. My husband is fantastic. I live in a quite nice quiet area, so when I'm having a rough time with my health, it's not like just sirens all the time outside or a train going past my house, which is where I used to live. So,
That's how you know you're not living in the UK.
mhm. Yeah,
Sirens
yeah,
and
yeah.
trains.
Sirens and trains, and the train's so close to your house shakes when it goes past quite fast.
Oh,
It's yeah, it can be intense, but yeah, I just I do what I can. And I think that's all that we can do as human beings, not specifically me. Um but yeah.
so almost a slight subtle implication that you are separate to human beings. There, I quite like that. I referred to you as a legend before. Very much on brand. I think
I don't feel like a human being most of the time, to be honest. Like I don't. I'm just like, is this humanity?
I feel
this
like
this experience right here?
I gotta
And
look at
then I have
people.
an existential crisis, and then I'm like, no, this is human experience.
Yeah, like I look at people and go, really? Is this people? I don't feel like people. No. Um.
I think it really depends on like it kind of goes a little bit back to the polarizing nature of society these days. Is that most of the people that get seen or get made viral or whatever um are either so unbelievably cruel as people that I cannot understand why they do what they do. And I will never understand why they do what they do. But then there's also the people that it's very clear they're just acting out for attention right now. Like there is just this thing where these people are doing these things just for attention and they don't really care how what they do impacts society.
Mhm.
And that's where I'm like, you could be so much better.
Um.
Uh,
I just kind of want to pick up just from the previous points. I think I appreciate the honesty with which you share that about trying to relax. I think there is an impression it's quite divisive when you say you're a content creator, right? You go, oh, you get to play games for a living. That must be amazing. And then do you just keep playing games? And that's a thing. So I think it's really illuminating and really important to highlight the kind of effort that is put in to facilitate that for the people that enjoy your content. That you need to then
mm,
just like unwind and really disconnect from those type of things.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, it doesn't surprise me because like I've had many people in my life say to me like, "Oh, I wish I could stay in bed all the time. Oh, I
Ooh.
wish I didn't have to go out to work. Oh, like things would be so much easier if I got to use a wheelchair." And it's just like, no, 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 no. Literally, never, never is a wheelchair more convenient than walking, ever, because the world is inaccessible.
Yeah, like have you seen literally anywhere?
Staying in bed all the time might be fun for 1 week off work, but when it gets into the 3, 6 months, 10 years stage, no, it's not fun. So few people will try to put themselves in another person's shoe. Like, there's just this, there's these people that just think that everything is about entitlement. Like, oh, I stay in bed because I'm entitled and don't think I should work, or I use a wheelchair because I'm lazy and I don't think I should walk. Like, not, it's not, that's not how any of this works. Nobody chooses to get ill. Nobody chooses to be a 20-year-old at university, living your best life. You're on your third year, about to go finish your dissertation so that you can work in conservation and try and save the planet because you spent your whole life loving the planet and wanting to save it. And then you get so ill you cannot walk. No, like nobody chooses that life. Not a single one of us would choose that life over achieving their dreams with an able body.
Mhm.
And especially if they've had an experience of being able bodied, it's a very difficult transition. There's a lot of grief that's involved in that. I couldn't talk about this the way I talk about it now 5 years ago, you know?
Mhm.
I would still get upset at the life that I had, you know?
Mhm.
Um, and with content creation, it is an incredible blessing to be able to earn money off of it.
Mhm.
Most content creators never earn a single penny off of creating content. Um, and some people give up, some people don't, even if they don't earn money. But yeah, it is on that like side of it is an incredible privilege to be thought of as somebody that is worth people's time and money. Um, and it's also a privilege to be able to create content that entertains people, that brings a smile to their face, because um I think there are a lot of things in this world that will take the smile away.
Mhm.
Um so if I can be just a tiny part of this chaos we call life that helps others in some tiny way, um it's a very big privilege.
There are so many brilliant points I want to kind of pull out and continue to chew on. I think I'll pick up you use the phrase entitlement, and I think that's a really brilliant phrase because I think a lot of people presume the entitlement to comment on you or your disability, you know, and they themselves believe that to being empathetic, if that makes
Sorry, my
sense.
cat just walked in. Yeah.
Like they believe that that is them. Oh well, like I understand what that's like because I spent a week in bed when I was ill, right? And like
Hmm.
they
Yeah.
want to believe that that is them being empathetic, but it's really not, right?
No.
And I think empathy is, you know, with my psychologist hat on, it's a skill that I feel a lot of people are not very good at learning how to wield appropriately. Not enough skill points in empathy.
It's a very scary skill to practice as well. Um, because especially if you weren't brought up around a lot of empathy, if you don't, most children come out and their brains are quite kind in general. Like, generally, the brain is just this big old sponge that sees the best out of everything. Um, but a lot of children face abuse, neglect, trauma, or just don't get taught as like through neglect, don't get taught any of the skills they need to like get through life as a happy and as well adjusted as possible person. None of us are perfectly well adjusted. Um, like all of us have something that fuels the little like gremlin in our brains that's like protect yourself. The world is a scary place. Lash out so you don't get hurt first.
Fueled
You
on a
know.
diet of caffeine, spite, and griefer-related trauma. Good times, good stuff. Yeah.
I often say I persist on spite.
And
Like
caffeine.
spite
Gotta
against
have the caffeine.
spite against anybody that's ever said like anything completely untrue about me.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, sure, I'm probably not a perfect person because again, there is no perfect person. But when you come at me saying like me becoming disabled was karma, or that I'm not actually ill, or the only reason that I need mobility aids is because I'm so fat, it's like I live on the spite of knowing you're wrong about me. You know, I, it fuels me when I feel particularly bad about myself, which is kind of weird, I
Mm.
guess. Um, like when I start to like doubt myself, I'm like, wait, but they were wrong. And if they could say all those awful things about me, maybe I could be wrong about myself.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's a
I
unique
do love running on spite.
it's a unique perspective. I like that. I think that's really valuable. I think yeah, it's living in the continuum of being a disabled person and then kind of like literally just existing.
Hmm.
People generally seem to take an issue with that. And like yeah, I think if I had a pound for every time someone had told me I wasn't blind, I would be rich.
Oh, you know what people seem to hate the most? Disabled joy.
Oh yeah, we can't be happy and disabled. Imagine.
We're not allowed to actually do things in our life that bring us joy and fulfillment, because if we do, it means that we're not actually disabled and we should be spending all of our very tiny limited resources in our lives on productivity alone. Like like our lives don't have meaning or worth outside of work. And I think that's a very toxic mindset. Like really toxic mindset. No wonder so many people burn out and become husks of themselves way before retirement.
Mm.
Like,
It's
yeah,
a
I
it's a
think I think too many people are just too scared that other people will view them the way they view other people.
I think there's an inherent kind of. I'm going to try and pick my words carefully here. I think if the so many people exist with a fear, with this perplexing anxiety that is rooted within the self, that anyone else being a success means they cannot be successful or they cannot do well. So like if you're I'll use us as an example if you'll pardon me putting us together in the same bracket.
Okay. Yeah.
Um we're both pretty badass. And that upsets people because they see two disabled people being badass and go, well, if the disabled get badass, what am I going to do? Right? Where am I going to
Mm.
go? I'll lose my place in society. And let's be honest, if you're a cisgendered straight white boy, you're probably the most concerned about that because you have all the power and we're coming for
We're coming for you, white men.
it.
Watch out, white boys.
But
The
no,
lads are on tour and so am I. I just like roll up with a baseball bat.
but
For
like
legal reasons, that was a joke.
that was a joke. Yes, we do not incite violence. But maybe if you did, it'd be karma. Am I right? Just that happens when
It's
you
fine.
have
It'll be an inflatable hammer or something. Like, no actual damage.
King DDD hammer, just like. But I truly think it sort of stems from that fear of displacement of themselves, right? And that
Mhm.
like the people who are oftentimes least happy are the ones that wish to extinguish happiness in anyone else, right? It's just other people being happy at all like irritates them, right? And I think to circle back to a comment we made before around the kind of disingenuousness of online content, I think I'm so old. I remember like original YouTube before Google bought it, and like everyone kind of you knew everything was fake because that was the whole point. It was joke,
Yeah.
like when like Smosh started, everyone knew that was a joke. That's the whole point. The internet was just BS, basically. And then
Yeah.
there kind of was this weird turn in like from like the late noughties through to like the 2010s, where like
Mhm.
reality, you know, we took reality TV and put it on the internet. Everything became so real and hyper. I'm going to blog my entire life now, including my
Mm.
kids, without them really being able to give express permission. But that's a whole separate issue that I'm not going to get into. To the point now
Yeah.
where I feel like everything I watch, I by default assume that it's not real. Like assume that it's not. Assume bad faith,
Mm.
which is so demoralizing in of itself. Like you'll see clips of people just being kind of horrible just for like the sake of, or like just being very limiting, or like maybe again I'm a fuddy duddy. I'm bad at taking photos of myself. That's a problem I have because I even though I carry around a supercomputer with a camera, I forget to do that. But like my first response from experiencing a thing is not to get out my phone and film myself. Maybe that's
Yeah.
just a me thing.
No,
There was no question in
I
there, by
think
the way.
it
Sorry, I was just chatting in.
no, I think also for me, yeah, I grew up when social media was very much in its infancy. Like I had MySpace and Bebo.
Oh,
Um,
Bebo! Wow, that's a blast
remember
from the past.
Bebo?
Yo,
You want to hear a really
ah,
cool story about the guys that made Bebo?
yes.
I went on a night out with them once, years ago.
No way! That's
Years
incredible.
ago. I went
No way.
to, oh gosh, what was it? It was a TwitchCon because it was LA. So, went over to US TwitchCon, was hanging out with some friends, and they were like, "Oh, hey, come meet my other friends." And their other friends were the creators of Bebo.
That's
And I was
that's
like,
incredible.
"What?" So then they bought my drinks for the night, which I was like, "Thank you very
Nice.
much, seeing as you got so much money for Bebo. Like, I'm more than okay with letting you buy me a $10 drink. Thank you very much.
Here for it.
Wonderful." But they were like quite nice guys as well. Yeah, I it's weird how like tiny the world actually is once it comes to like chance connections and chance meetings. Um like you if you told like little old 10, 12-year-old me that I would meet the people that made Bebo one day, I'd be like, "Pfft, no, not me." Um but here we are. Living a life that I never expected for myself. So,
Well, I mean, that's pretty dope. There's so many people like what people listening. What's Bebo? You can hear the keyboards googling it as we speak. Oh mate, that's so funny. Like, but yeah, like I just like I struggle to take anything I see seriously, and the kind of Right, if I'm gonna get on my soapbox, pardon me for a second. I know this is about you,
Mm,
not me. But the thing that frustrates me the most is when, like, so I love cooking content, right? I love cooking, don't question it. But obviously, my algorithm knows I like cooking.
mm.
So, like, you'll see quote unquote cooking videos that are like obviously, aggressively, stupendously parody. But like,
Yeah.
these people are wasting food. Like
Oh, I
we are
hate
like
it.
running out of supplies, like, and
Yeah.
water, and you are just wasting food to annoy people. Like, you tag
Yeah.
enough famous chefs and hope that one of them will react to it and create this kind of
Mm,
loophole of like,
the absolute audacity that we live in such a food insecure world that instead of taking those food supplies that you don't actually need to consume because you have enough for your family and you don't donate them to a food bank, instead you create a shitty little 60-second video for your shitty little fucking YouTube Shorts page or your TikTok account or whatever, and you just rile up people that serving this slop shit on a plate and then pretending to eat it and being like, and then you throw it all in the bin later. And it's like, to quote my mum, there are starving kids in Africa, and all over the world. There are starving kids in your own town. There are starving kids in your own cities. There's so much suffering, and why would you add to that, even indirectly? Even though you're not literally taking that food out of those children's mouths, you are causing further food insecurity in general. You're making it harder for families to acquire those products to feed their own children.
yeah, because you wanted to put it in a blender to see what would happen. Like,
Yeah.
and it's always like I learned this in insert country, a loosely kind of disguised recipe racism, I guess. I don't know. But like, yeah, it's just that's one kind of gripe that really gets me, right? Like, that's one thing that really kind of frustrates me with that content. This is turning quite negative. That's not ideal. It's not what I wanted. I sound really old and
Psyched to
grumpy.
rant with you.
So like, if people have been watching along with these, I did like a whole bunch of pre-recording at the turn of the year. So like, I haven't actually done one of these for a while, and I feel like it's really showing. That's no reflection on you. That's my bad. That's me giving you a bad flip of the coin. But we'll
No,
press
you're
on.
not.
We'll press on. Um, on sort of enjoyment and things. Is there anything that you've played, watched, read, consumed lately that you'd give it as a recommendation?
Well, have absolutely fallen head over heels for Fallout London mod.
Nice.
Um, because I love the Fallout series in general. And for it to be in a non-US setting, first of all, fantastic. And then for it to be London, which is a city that I've been to many times and I know, like, I've never got to have that experience. Like, people from Boston got to have that experience with Fallout 4, and New Vegas and all that lot. People from the Nevada area, California, like, they are able to see bits of their own societies, like, that kind of persist through the nuclear fallout. But to see London that way, like, I don't want it real life. No, thank you. Please, no nukes. Um, but to actually see it, and for it to be actually so, like, lovingly created and really well voice acted and actually really well written. Um, it's fantastic. I get that Fallout feeling that people who have played Fallout in their hometowns have had, and that's a really fun experience.
If they want to challenge Fallout Liverpool, and if they need some Scouse
Oh,
voice actors, then give me a bell. I'm available. All right there, lad. Pretty
it's
sick
like
them nukes,
300 years
weren't
into
they,
the
mate?
300 years into the future. You're like, don't buy the scum, fucking Tories. You know,
It would still persist, 100%.
it is in your blood.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, Fallout London, great shout. I feel like it's
Hmm.
it's a really good thing, and I think, like, yeah, that feeling of relatedness is really powerful in games. I think there's a great feeling of feeling that it's recognizable, right? Like, I feel like that's
Hmm.
one thing that I know people enjoy from, like, vehicle simulators. One of the things people enjoy about that, like,
Yeah.
going past their own house and stuff. I'm aware, but I haven't quite dabbled. There is one of the I like trains. Okay, I like train games. Islands and Trains,
Mhm.
very anticipated. But there's like one that has like the Liverpool Manchester route, and there is that part of me is like that would be fun to stream that route though as a train, like be a little train driver.
Mm.
But yeah, that because you know it's like, oh yeah, look, this is a train journey I've taken, and there's that sense of niceness. Um, it feels really
I always
juxtaposed.
worry I'm gonna accidentally like dox myself if I did something like that. You know, I'd be like, oh, this is where I live, and then like one person in the world that is really good at like GeoGuessr just like comes into my stream and types my address. Like, so yeah. It's always like it's all fair.
That's true. It's a very real thing, and I think yeah, it feels very juxtaposed to say that, and then on one hand be like, don't you love sci-fi dystopia though? My like favorite genre
Oh,
of
I
thing.
do. We've just me and my husband, we've just been watching through Doctor Who.
Nice.
We both loved the new series on Disney Plus. And we've been searching around, scouring around whatever platforms we have access to, trying to find some more old seasons. And we've just restarted David Tennant. So I haven't seen those ones in years, but I know I love them. So it's been a nice little romp down like memory lane going, they wouldn't be able to say that today.
It's so straight. I remember like when Doctor Who came back with Christopher Eccleston, and I remember
I loved him.
like it coming back, and I remember like my dad being like, "This is." I remember Doctor Who, and I was like, "What this new thing, Doctor? How do you know what this is?" I'm like, "No, it's a classic." And now I'm that old that is now classic Who, because then there's like that is like classified as classic Who, and then there's
Yeah.
classic Who.
There's
Like
like
Doctor
OG
Who.
Who,
Yeah,
and then there's Classic Who, and now it's New Who. And I'm just like, I don't mind being New Who too. Like,
more like
tell me
Boo
more
Hoo,
about
am I
New
right?
Who. uh,
I'm an entertainer. It really shines through on this format. Anyway, so
you
Doctor
did
Who.
laugh a little bit like Basil Brush then, so you've got a career.
Meet. I feel like I'm much more. What's
You
it?
want to be Brum?
Hackatee dog. We're just normal men.
Ah, yeah.
We're just men. Just normal men. It's true. Normal, innocent men.
Yes. That is exactly the phrase that comes to mind when I think of you.
Yes. No one has ever used me and normal in the same sentence apart from the word not being a prefix to it. And I'm okay with that. I wear that as a battle mantle. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Keep it light, Chris. It's a podcast. Keep it light. Okay, so we'll get towards some of my favorite questions in the episodes now.
Yeah.
As we sort of begin to round out. But if you had no limitations, you had access to unlimited resources, time, expertise, people, whatever you needed, right? What is one blue sky idea? Whatever color sky you want the sky to be in your world, it's your world. Make it whatever you like. Bit Bob Ross, I know. But what's one project you would like to do?
Oh gosh.
I guess they always act like I don't send them the questions in advance. What is the?
You do, but the problem is that like I took the question slightly differently
Okay.
than how you describe it just now, and now I'm like, my answer doesn't really apply anymore. Because I originally thought like, oh, if I had like no limitations, my brain went, oh, if I wasn't disabled. I was like, wow, what would my life be if I wasn't disabled? What an interesting question.
Yeah, I've never thought of it being taken in that way, and now I feel terrible about the wording of it.
No. Honestly, like it didn't offend me, but I do see now that I've said it and seen it interpreted that way, how maybe there is a chance to offend. But no, blue sky idea, blue sky idea, blue sky idea, blue sky idea, blue sky idea. I could do anything I want. I would try to be Mr. Beast, but without all of the like faking that I care about people. Like instead of just like doing like weird, awkward like lotteries and hiding, pretending I'm altruistic when really I'm just trying to make money. Um, I just want to do good things for people. It's there's no any one thing. Like I'd love to throw like parties for children's hospitals,
Whoa,
so
whoa,
that the
whoa. Hold,
children's are made
Radderss,
happier.
Radderss. Hold. You want to be nice for the sake of being nice. You don't want to make money from being nice. Is that what you're saying?
If
You just want to be
I
kind.
if I'm comfortable, if I have no need for any extra money, if I have all the resources in the world that I could ever need, why would I need more? I've never understood
Corporate greed.
the I've never understood the thing of like when once people make a load of money, they start to just funnel it off into offshore accounts and dodge taxes through all the loopholes around the world. And they never actually give back to society when society is giving them so much right now. Like, you don't want to pay your dues, you don't want to make the world a better place, you don't want to stop children dying from disease and starvation. Like, where
Completely unrelated, but just a casual reminder that your CEO of whatever company it is you might work for slash be affiliated with is making their millions slash billions of pounds because of you, the worker. It's never been a better time to absolutely unrelatedly join a union. Unrelated, sorry, totally tangential.
Yeah, and totally unrelated. If you ever find yourself being retaliated against in a workplace because you want to or chose to unionize, that's illegal. And you have resources to get some recourses. Don't let these greedy little shits stamp you down into dust.
Okay, hear me out. Radio jingles, because that was great.
Oh yeah, I could do that.
That was that was banger. Yeah. Boom.
Cheers.
All right. Sorry, that was that caught me off guard. I'm here for it. So like to blue sky idea, just you do good things. You actually contribute to meaningful society.
That would be the dream. Yeah. Like I know it sounds really like, oh, look at me. I'm a really good person. I'm better than everyone else. No, it's more of a I would feel like a worse person if I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
If I had everything I could ever need and I didn't give back, that would that would speak so much to me really being an incredibly selfish person. And I wasn't brought up that way. And it doesn't feel right for me.
Mm. No, that makes sense. That
But I'm
makes
also not neurotypical, so who knows?
sense.
Who knows? Who knows how neurotypical works? Because I certainly don't.
If you're neurotypical, write in. Let us know how it functions. I thought I knew, but I'm not sure anymore. Let us know. Answers on a postcard. Leave a comment. Like and subscribe. All the buzzwords. Anywho. Okay, great. Blue sky idea. I love that. I think, let's be fair, that's really, I think, authentic to the rest of this conversation. The fact you opened it with, like Mr. Beast, but I think is terrific. I think that exactly, people know exactly what you mean, and that is the power of the rhetoric. Um, is there someone, or maybe a body of people, a collective rather, that you would like to give a shout out to that you maybe don't think get enough, like a clap and an applause and a spotlight?
Um, so many. Um, first of all, everybody at Many Cats and Impact, fantastic people, doing great things for people, disabled and neurodivergent people working in the games industry. Fantastic. They're a great source of support, and they actually care, and I love that for them. Um, Shout out to Safe in Our World, the charity. They're doing great things with mental health in the gaming space. And personally, as I feel that there's quite the global mental health crisis going on right now, and the more charities that are really looking out for people's mental health, the better. And they're doing great work, and I'm very proud to be a patron of them. And I also wanted to give a shout out on the creator side to the entire Cosmic Hearts stream team. Um, they're a team that I joined last year, focused on charity work. So every year we try to do 2 minimum big team events where we all try to do whole bunch of fundraising, get a good amount of money raised for good causes. And every single one of those people is such a beautiful person, like inside and out. Like they are so lovely. Like they're such lovely people. Um,
Good. Whoa, hold on. Good people
and
on
I
the
just,
internet? Well, no, hold
and
on.
I, they're good people that do good things, and it is a honor to be a part of them and to have been chosen to stream with them.
Well, if the prerequisite was good human doing good things, I feel like you and that marry up as a 1-to-1. So, not a surprise, I guess, from the outside looking in. So, take that. Take
It's a
that,
surprise
cats.
from the inside looking out, let me tell you. Trauma.
Just clean the windows. That's all it is. Just a bit dusty.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah.
All that nuclear fallout, Just
Oh,
get
look
rid
at
of
that. It's raining indoors.
that. All right, so as we as we round out, um, definitely not something that I rob from any other radio show or anything, but a series of little quick fire questions of you're going to a
Hmm.
biodome of your choice for some rest and relaxation, and you can
Ooh.
take with you one book, film/TV show, one album, and one game. What are you taking with you? You can share what biodome you're visiting if you choose. If it comes as a physical collection, you can take it, or digital. If it's bundled as a bundle, you can take it.
Mhm. Um, okay, so I'm just gonna have to like go with okay, what will satiate me forever?
Mhm.
Um, film, the Shrek trilogy.
Nice. Only the trilogy though.
I could take or give for, honestly,
You think
and
5 is going to
plus
be a
the first,
redemption?
I hope.
Mhm.
But you never know, right? Like you
Yeah.
never know. But I love the Shrek films. They bring me so much joy and comfort. Um, do a little hack here. The Wheel of Time series for book because
Nice.
it's so many books. It's like a 16 book collection or something. It's ridiculous. Um, but my husband has it, and so I've started reading like the first book on my phone and stuff. So yes. Um, and I love the TV show as well. Um, Music, it's so difficult. I am ridiculous with music. I love music so much. I love all music. But honestly, I'd probably end up somewhere around like video game soundtracks.
Mm,
Um, I love the Oblivion soundtrack, Skyrim soundtracks. I actually went to a Fallout and like Skyrim Bethesda War Child charity concert a few years back, and hearing those songs live in the room with the orchestra, it was just so incredible that and there's so much emotion in those songs. Some of them are very dramatic, some of them are very relaxed. And I think I could, you know, make those I can make game soundtracks work for me, you
hmm
know?
Yeah.
They're great. Or the Dragon Age Inquisition soundtrack because it has both tavern songs and game music. So I
Okay.
could
Nice.
get a
Yeah.
bit of both. Um, what haven't I answered yet?
Video game. The biggie.
Oh, Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate. Yeah.
If we're
Solid
gonna
choice.
go with a game that has so many different ways to play it, um, and it has not just like, so many different ways of playing it by yourself, but all the origin stories and everything else. There's so much content there that it would keep me going for a long time.
hmm All right. Solid set of answers. Appreciate it. I think that sounds like you'd have a great time having some rest and relaxation.
Hope so.
Um, the last thing I suppose for me is I always like to turn the tables upon myself and let you, the guest, ask me a question. Um, I have had the biodome question, I think, already this season. And please don't ask me how the PhD is going because that's just, we don't need to talk about.
Okay. I will turn the tables around on you. What is something that you are particularly proud of that you have worked on in any time recently?
Oh gosh, this is so interesting as well because of like the pre-recorded nature of the rest of these episodes that went out. Like I think like in the last one, I was like, I can't wait for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth to come out, and like obviously that came out in like August when I played so much of it. The most recent one at the time of recording, when after that will be another one. Jeremy, bear with me, okay? What am I proud of? That's such a good question, and it's like positively framed, so I hate it. Um, you know, so again, at the time of recording, I like took a mental health break from content over the summer, just to deal with a whole bunch of life stuff. But I think the thing that I am proud of is the support from the community that I got around that. Everyone was very encouraging, very supportive of me taking a break, very like we will wait for you to get back, you know. I was kind of having this like very existential crisis on like what's even the point? Gosh, like what do I even do this good in my content type thing? And you know, someone said that like the games were just a fun thing to observe, but what they came for was the chat, right? And
Yeah.
that's a huge comp. The fact that someone would, even yourself included, come and listen to me chat mints for any portion of time is a surprise, but a pleasant one. So I'm gonna say that. Yeah, I think having done something that resonated with people other than myself, that I think is
Hmm.
to have had an impact on anyone in any way, shape, or form that is positive is something to be proud of.
Agreed.
Yeah. I'm also proud of like another super top secret thing that I won't mention in case I haven't mentioned it by the time this goes out, but I'll tell you after we record if you.
And
But
you watching this recording in many months' time, maybe go have a little look around, see if anything cool's been announced.
yes, use the links attached to wherever you found this episode. Um, to fully round off though, is there anything else that you'd like to say that you haven't feel you've had the chance to?
um, Not specifically. Um, just that I guess I hope everybody watching is doing well. And if you're not doing well, I hope you make it to the better times.
Lovely. Genuinely very nice. This has been very nice. You've been almost offensively nice. Quite disarming in
I
today's
do
society.
like to offend people. So
By being nice. God, it's so weird. Such a cluster. Anyway, Radderss, thank you so much for joining me on the show. Where can people find you on the interwebs or links attached to every found this episode?
Um, so the username is Radderss, Radderss. If you forget the second S, you may get lost. You can find me on Twitch under the username Radderss. YouTube is also Radderss. TikTok is Radderss as well. And Instagram Radderss with an underscore, and the hopefully soon to be completely dead Twitter account is Radderss Gaming.
Nice. Excellent. Right, well, thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this chat as much as I have. All that remains for me to do is click on that button that takes our viewers to the ending screen so that they know that their video is finished. But otherwise, bye bye everyone. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
Bye.